Well, 2025 has finally arrived, as we all know. We welcomed it here last Sunday when we did a really great visioning process during the service for our personal intentions, that which we want to experience in the coming year. Today and every Sunday this month, we're looking at ways of being, of ways of showing up in the world that will assist in the individual and collective upward revolution around the spiral of evolution. I love that, it's a mouthful. Upward revolution around the spiral of evolution. And I want us to begin today with something that I usually do at the end, but I want to set the tone not just for this Sunday, but for the whole month of January. And maybe for the whole year. This January is important to really set the tone of what we want to experience and be in the new year. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes now. We're going to go into this short little meditation and see in your mind's eye a calendar. And you know the kind, it sits on top of a desk, 4 by 4 inches square of paper, and see the month of January 2025 and tear that off. Then see and tear off February of 2025, March, and keep doing this until you arrive at January of 2026. And leave that sheet on your calendar right now. So you are in January of 2026. And you and all of humanity have taken an upward revolution around that evolutionary spiral. You have a greater awareness of who you really are 1 year from now. You have a greater understanding of how life really works. You have an expanded consciousness, and you are living in harmony with the greater good that is always available. Breathe that in. From this perspective, take a look at your outer life. Get images of circumstances and situations of the world that you live in. And see yourself living the life that you desire to live in the world that you desire to live in January 2026. You're already there. Get a really good, vivid picture of it. Loving relationships, physical well-being, financial abundance, living on purpose. Who are you and what are you doing 1 year from now? Now go inside and check out your internal landscape. Notice how you feel about yourself. What does the larger world around you look like now that all of humanity has also evolved? How are you relating to one another? Those in your life? And take another couple of deep breaths and see your calendar returning to their original order. So December 2025 returns, November, October, all the way back to today, January 2025. Take a moment to reground yourself. And in this room, you can open your eyes and when you're ready. So, how many of you saw a better world? Oh, thank you. Not everyone, but enough. How many of you saw yourself having a hand in it by being who you are, authentically? Can't work on anyone else but ourselves, remember that. And we change the whole world by working on ourselves. People think, oh, it's only me, what difference does that make? There's such a big group over there. The light is so strong, it's so strong, and if you are the light bearer, the light shower, which you are, then you dissipate that around you. You're contributing to the collective evolution of this planet. We need you. We all need you. In the foreword to Andrew Cohen's book, Evolutionary Enlightenment, Deepak Chopra writes, "There has never been a better time to be enlightened." And I will add another concept to that. There has never been a better time to be a catalyst for that enlightenment. We are catalysts for the enlightenment, which is becoming aware of who we really are. Our God selves, that's who we really are. Incredible, powerful beings of light. That's the truth of our authentic self. So, if your goals in life don't cause you to shake a little in your boots, they're not big enough. So everything that we want to be and really are, but want to really express in our lives, we can. There's no too big for us. All is possible. And I don't mean for us to live our lives in fear, because that's not what we want to do. But rather, we are so much more than we think we are. And we can be and do so much more than we think we can. So we want our dreams and our goals to stretch us into a greater way of expressing life, expressing who we are, individualized. And here's the deal. We are either going to be part of humanity's problem or part of the solutions. You get to choose. I know I want to be part of the solution. I don't want to dwell in that energy of the problems. I want to be and hold. And it takes a little work to be in that solution, to be that light. And did you see any of that when you were doing your little meditation? Did you see yourself as more kinder, enlightened being? I did. See yourself as part of the solution in life. individually and collectively, we want to be part of the solution, right? Do we?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I want to make sure you're all paying attention. So this month, we're going to take a very big picture look at our role in the evolution of consciousness, of our own and of humanity's, the evolution of humanity's consciousness. In Evolutionary Enlightenment, Andrew Cohen writes, the very desire to embark on a path of enlightenment is already the beginning of enlightenment, because the path and the goal are one. There is no separation, and if we separate it, then we are losing the whole truth of the oneness of life. Everything is connected, scientifically, spiritually, mentally, physically, it's all connected. And we'll find out about that, if this is a true statement or not, when we do leave these bodies. We'll find out if all this stuff is true or not. I believe it is. You know why I believe it is? Because I feel good. And if I'm going to feel good, then I'm part of the solution. If I'm going to feel bad, then I'm part of the problem. So I'm not dwelling in that. I'm not dwelling in that. So the very desire to embark on a path of enlightenment is already the beginning of enlightenment, because the path and the goal are one. As I said, the statement echoes scripture, where it is stated, before they call, I will answer. Right? Ernest Holmes speaks on this. Page 190 of Science of Mind book. We come to understand then that the answer to prayer is in the prayer when it is prayed. The belief of our praying sets in motion the law of love, which is the fundamental law of the universe. We know that love is an energy. We're talking about divine love. It's an energy. It is the glue that holds everyone and everything that exists together. This energy of love. It's consciousness. So, inherent in the desire to evolve is the ability to evolve. Just in the inherent desire of it is the ability. This is interesting. Inherent in the impulse to go to a higher and deeper level of understanding of who we are and how life really works and what in life matters is a higher and deeper understanding. If it weren't already there, we wouldn't desire it. We would not live in a world where God dangles a carrot in front of us and says, I want you to desire this, but there's no way you're going to experience it. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Everything that we envision in our lives is already present. You know, parallel universes. It's already here. But we have to be consciously open and receptive and declare it clearly as our experience in order to really experience it. Cohen writes, we have within us an evolutionary impulse to move forward. That impulse is the same uninhibited impulse that bursts forth in the Big Bang. When that impulse is expressed at the highest level of consciousness, it is the inspiration that pulls us toward spiritual liberation and enlightenment. And Cohen talks about 5 tenets of evolutionary enlightenment. Today we're going to touch on one. We're going to talk about one. The clarity of intention. Very important. How clear we are to what we intend in our life, and then living it. And what do I mean by clarity of intention in this context? Most of us know the power of intention. It's very powerful when we clearly set our intentions. That's why this workshop today with Dana Smith is going to really solidify everything I'm talking about, everything we visioned for last week. And we know we must be clear in the intention in order for it to manifest. We can't set our intention and then be distracted all over the place and expect the intention to manifest in our lives. It won't. So the power of clarity of intention is completely so important. It is utmost importance to have a clear intention. And then to, if you stray, which you will, because we're human, pull ourselves back to that intention. When we closed our eyes earlier and focused upon our own desires to what we want to experience in this new year, how many of us imagined a life worse than we have today? Anyone? How many experienced a life better than? Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
He's getting worried about that. The spiritual impulse is moving us upward. It always goes forward. It doesn't go backward. I've said many times, I don't want to live my life going backwards. I refuse to do that. I'm always going forward. Always going forward. And that, what I believe, that is the life's deepest impulse, to always move forward. Can't go backwards. All it ever wants to do is move you forward. And our inherent in spiritual evolution comes from that part that is only interested in becoming more conscious, more aware. That's what it means, more aware of the power of the spirituality, that we really are the spirit beings, that we really are eternally. Setting your intention on your innate desire to evolve will allow you to see, maybe for the first time, the difference between your authentic self's desires and then that ego self. Because the ego self's conditioned hesitation is on stubborn refusal a lot, doesn't like change, likes things to be the same. This is us. This is our beliefs. We like to stay in those patterns of this is how it is. This is how it would always be. So that's why it takes a little courage to step out of the way it's always been and open ourselves up to something brand new, something that we might have been a little hesitant about. It's so important to do that. So let me give you some warning signs that may suggest the ego's limited perspective and desire for us to stay where we are, rather than the intention to evolve in absolute control. First one, being overly concerned about what other people think of us. Maybe you can relate to some of these. How often, this is when the ego's in charge, okay? How often are we motivated by wanting to look at a certain way in someone else's eyes? We do things and say things that actually don't resonate with us, but we do them because we want to be liked and accepted. This is coming from a place in us that doesn't think that we are already okay. We need other people to accept us. We need that. The ego needs that. And that place, my friends, is pure ego. Because when you are connected with your authentic self, our true God nature, we are not concerned what other people's opinions are about us. Not important. We know who we are. As long as we're living in integrity with our lives, we know who we are and we know what we want. And that's the single-eye focus. Focus on that. So our first touchstone, if you will, for seeing if you are knocked off your clarity is if you really are so concerned with what other people are thinking about us and their opinions. The second is you are easily offended. Now that goes with don't take anything personally in the 4 agreements. This is a tough one. You are easily offended. No matter what the topic, no matter how justified you may feel in being offended, that feeling is a feeling of separation, a feeling of division. It's not part of the oneness, and it's coming strictly from our egoic self, our beliefs and everything that makes us human is coming from there. But that power within us, that God self, is so much stronger than those beliefs, and we can change those beliefs anytime we want. The authentic self will discern and have preferences, absolutely, because we follow that intuitive self, and will lovingly act on those preferences, but it will not be offended. Our authentic self cannot be offended. So if you are being offended by anyone or anything, you are not supporting your evolution or the evolution of mankind. Third way, you believe my way is the right way, and sometimes the only way. Is there anything else that needs to be said about that? Those of us who can identify with that, you know, a little bit of control issues. I don't have to go too deeply into that, since, you know, part of me, a big part of me, suffers from that. It's my way. It's the right way. Too bad Steve's not here.
I don't see it at all.
They don't see it when I walk in and I rearrange the flies. Okay, so a lot of us can relate to that. I need to be in control. No more on that one. Number 4, you are constantly comparing yourself to others. Well, that's a bad one. I don't like that one. It's okay to be inspired by others. I'm always inspired by other people and what they accomplish and who they are. That inspires me. But I don't want to be them. I don't want to be them. Then I'm seeing myself as less than if I do that. It's okay to have role models or mentors. It's always good to have someone that seems to know a little bit more than you, because that's how we learn. That's how we learn and evolve. But it's ego-driven to compare yourself to them and come up short. People do this. The authentic self will use them as examples and beacons to lift you to a higher, use them as examples, as beacons to lift you higher. Your ego will use them to tear you down. So your authentic self will raise you up. I'm inspired when I read and see about people that have accomplished all this great stuff that I think is great. But the ego will try to knock you down if you're not strong in your authenticity, knowing that you are perfect just the way you are. Just the way you are. The 5th one, you dwell in low energy emotions. Emotions such as anger, sadness, grief, despair, jealousy, all of those, you dwell in them. And notice I didn't say you stepped off the clarity of intention path. If you have low emotions, energy emotions, it's fine, everybody has them. But it's not staying there, not dwelling in those and not letting them go, just always in that. I know people like this, you know people like this. They always have a sad story about their life. They always have a problem about their life. They're always in that energy. And it's like I say, you know, if you're going through hell, don't stop and build a condo. Move on. Move on. We don't want to hang out there. Yeah, we're going to have grief. Yeah, we're going to have sadness. All of us. But we don't want to stay there forever. We know we're moving higher and higher in our evolution. I know it. So we are off track when we stay in those emotions rather than get the lesson and bless it and move on. The truth is that we are connected to Source. We are Source. We are part of this infinite energy. There is no separation. Only what we believe is separation. When we are in touch with our authentic self and our normal self, is our normal self, so to speak. I don't like that word, but it's to be joy and happy, to be satisfied, to feel fulfilled. So there you have 5 tangible, powerful ways to get in touch and check, do a check-in, to make sure you're still on the path and you haven't gotten off track too much. And when we see that, we can lovingly, gently pull ourselves back. For now, let's go back now to where we started this morning, which was in that lovely meditation. So close your eyes just again, very briefly, and go back to the vision of you and your personal world in 2026, of the larger world. What did you feel? Hopefully it was a good feeling and you can bring that back with you. Get an image of it again and set the mental equivalent, which is the mental picture, again. Okay, so let us commit this morning to the clarity of intention. This is the first talk in the month of laying the spiritual groundwork for our lives, because that's what we're doing. We are laying the spiritual groundwork. In this commitment to our evolution, you may well experience a sense or surge of liberating confidence, a sense of empowerment, of knowing you are capable of everything and anything. Don't let your mind tell you any differently than that. And let us commit this morning to keeping fresh within our consciousness this moment of high resolve. And I really love to quote Howard Thurman's words on resolve. So this is from The Inward Journey, just one paragraph. He writes, "In the quietness of this place, surrounded by the all-pervading presence of God, my heart whispers, keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve, that in fair weather or foul, in good times or in tempest, in the days when the darkness and the foe are nameless or familiar, I may not forget that to which my life is committed. Keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve." And that's what we want to do, to keep our clear intentions at the forefront of our minds, no matter what is taking place around us, no matter what is taking place in our personal lives, to remember that we have a clear intention to be brilliant lights in this world. And I use that word a lot, but that's the word that resonates so deeply with me. There's so much darkness, it appears like there is, and so much chaos going on, that we're in the solution, we're in the light, and that affects the collective. And so I just say, let's remember and have a clear intention. Happy New Year once again. Happy 2025, where we keep love alive and we thrive in 2025. And so it is.